Hello, my friends, and welcome back, finally, to New Dalancia, our Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition homebrew campaign. I am your most gracious DM, VGpunx. With me are my most wonderful players, Ianfyr, played by Mr. Psychon Jr., Tess, played by 8-Bit Siren, and Beck by Zero Piccolo. What does this mean? Higher? Like higher? Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I don't really have an intro or anything that I planned, so I did want to talk about what happened in the previous arc of the story. So, yeah, you guys have just returned from the Mirrored Plains, where you met with the the dragon form of what you knew at the time to be the lady. She has requested your assistance in returning to the material plane, as she was once a very prominent figure in the dwarven culture over in Godbury, um, named Faraka Malborn. She was sort of like a folk hero, and yeah, has requested your assistance returning back to the material plane. As well, you have a couple of other things that you've been dealing with. Namely, there's been a magical plague that has swept across the other continent, the Godbury, Siuk, Rokia. Um, Magic users and are being rounded up, it seems, and otherwise people are turning into the undead. But you guys have come to understand that this is a magical or a plague of magical um, creation. So someone created this. You're trying to investigate who and why and how you can stop it. Another thing that happened was the wizard Healthius seems to have betrayed your group and is now doing these very strange things. It seems he might have the ability to manipulate space and time. Very strange, but you guys got pulled into the past at one point, and hijinks ensued. Tess learned that she was being manipulated by Healthius the entire time, and now has free access once again to the voice in her of her father, as it seems in her head. So, um, I believe that is where we are starting for today. So, let's go ahead and cut over to the HMCV Unbroken Trust, where our session begins. Yeah, let me get some ambience going here. Just some light ambient. Hopefully that's not too loud.
It's great on my end.
Yeah, I just need to put it down a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah. If you need to adjust it, you can do so in the playlist tab. Music tab over there. At this point, it's pretty. Well, I wouldn't say it's too late. It's dusk. You've kind of all put into your quarters at this point. The ship is just sailing on towards Schapeben. You know that the next destination, because Antarius talked about this previously, will be to cross over hostile waters that are owned by the orcs at the continent named Jindu. I'm having to refresh myself as well as we go. It's been, what, 6 months? It's been 6 months, and we're back. Here we are. Just about, yeah. All right. So, I assume that during this time, it's probably been about a week, maybe 2, since our last session. Game time. Obviously not real time. But, yeah, everybody had lined up, or had kind of told me before what you would be doing during downtime. Ianfyr, you've been studying the Dwarvish language as well as its history. In your efforts, you have been able to glean that essentially the ruin that you guys were at, Den Therum, very old, ancient ruin. But there were these dwarven houses there. Um, there was also a summoner, and with all the information that you've collected, you've been able to discern that the summoner somehow made his way to the mirrored planes and had interacted somehow with this lady, Faraka Malborn. Though the connection between the two still remains a bit unclear, you kind of have isolated like a time that they might have aligned and are actively trying to work out how that might tie in with the magical plague, if at all. It seems like the summoner somehow has some connection, but as I said before, the connection itself remains unclear. Rek, you've been spending your time aboard the ship learning to sail, and it is actually a lot of physical labor and as well as mental labor. In this, if you have not added it yet, you can go ahead and add the proficiency for vehicles sailing to your character. Feel free to do that at your leisure, but from henceforth, you are now proficient at sailing large sea vessels. So congratulations on that. Whoop, whoop. Yes, you have spent your time aboard, mostly visiting with the crew, offering counseling, also offering some guidance in the ways of Kellenvor, or esteemed patron, religious patron. You've also spent a good deal of time with the Kenku Skrito, and just trying to learn as much as you can from Skrito about the nature of their relationship with the lady. Oftentimes, when Skrito speaks, they do so using mimicry, and it's up to you to piece together what those connections are. I'd say at this point you have learned that the Kenku have a very long-standing relationship with the lady, and that there is a group of them that is constantly living there around her and providing her with information from the material plane and other planes. Let me know if you need some time to write all that down. Tess is the note taker over here, scribbling away.
To make it worse, I'm trying to learn how to take digital notes, so it's definitely an adjustment. I might miss some things.
Ianfyr, coming back to you, over your time spent the last few weeks, you've also been able to discern the nature of teleportation magic, I take it.
So I've when we came across the scrolls in the area in the material plane, or when we were in the planes, I know some of the scrolls sort of looked similar to some of the ones that I had been taught in the School of Magic. So basically, it's given me a little bit more of an understanding of what the sort of significance of some of the scrolls that I received were. So one of the lessons I learned when we sort of gained our experience to the next level was a spell to it's the I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull this up in the sheet real quick.
No problem.
It's just so hard to maneuver.
If you'd like, I can just speak on it.
It's just, yeah, give me a sec. I'm trying to pull this sheet and it's just being really dumb.
No problem.
Oh, here we go. So it's so essentially I reached the next level as a sorcerer, which comes with teleportation circle, which essentially it will require some components in order to sort of like really put it together.
I'd probably say you've spent a few days at this point on the ship trying to scrounge together those materials, and you have been able to find them through various sources, either people or in the among the ship's cargo manifest. You've been able to locate those items. Um,
Well, I mean, we've talked a little bit. Most of it should be fine. It's just the one in particular that's going to be that basically I need a little help with is just because it does require like essentially gems that worth at least 50 gold pieces. Uh, that I think we were discussing possibly needs to be crushed into the powder for the material or used for the consumed part.
Shouldn't be hard to crush gems as long as you can find them. The question at this point is where do you find them?
I mean, I've been holding on to a couple, so.
Yeah, and it's more than likely those gems are of the value that you need. It'll just be about uh, finding a means to where you can actually put together the teleportation circle that you need and all of that. I think the mirrored the secret cargo chamber for the ship where the mirror would be a good option for that since it's kind of an open area. It's away from prying eyes, that sort of thing. The linkage for said teleportation circle, however, is another aspect I wanted to speak to you about here. You know one place in the entire world that you can link to with the teleportation circle, and that is at the Institute of Thaumaturgy in Schapeben, namely the Travel Center. Travel Center is a portal room. You've been there a couple times, probably. And if you haven't been there yourself, you've definitely heard about it. This is the place where any travel from portal-wise, teleportation magic-wise, from anywhere in the world occurs. Anyone teleporting to and from Schapeben comes through the travel center. So you know that it is both well guarded and well maintained. So at this point, basically all you've got to do is communicate with the crew.
Yep.
You know.
All right. Yeah, that's really about all I've been working on since we've gotten back.
He banned the bot, please. Seem to be maybe
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, I had that same bot when I started streaming again last week.
got it. Thank you.
Yeah, usually I have the little like pop-up ban thing, but Twitch is constantly changing. My bad.
Oh no, you're cool. Yeah, so yeah, at this point, the ball is in you guys' court. What would you like to do? I guess let's go ahead and get started with the Ianfyr, huh?
Well, I mean, I'm heading out, and I'm gonna probably try to meet with a bit of the crew, or at least from the party, and probably even with Antarius to try to gather with some of the folks.
Okay. As you step out of your room, the ship, as you turn to the right, you can see that the ship has finally reached the open ocean from the sea of ice that was previously floating through. You hear through an open door to your left the sounds of speaking, Antarius' voice as well as Joven and Kimrim talking amongst themselves, although you can't make out what they're talking about. If it is your intention to gather the rest of the crew, you know that Tess typically stays in the galley below deck. val'faelen is in this room here, and Breck stays in. well, I can't say eastern. I could say the starboard room here.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna start by I'm actually gonna probably start to coming up to Antarius's room first,
Okay, the door is currently shut.
and just give a little bit of a knock.
All right, you knock upon the door.
And I'll say, there's some things I've been studying up on, and I need to discuss it with the rest of the group somewhere a little more secure.
A couple of seconds and the door opens. Ianfyr. Yes, count me in. Where would you like me to wait?
I'll say, meet me at the mirror.
The mirror. Yes. I'll be there. Val proceeds down the stairs.
And then, same to come down to come see Antarius.
Okay. As you walk in, Antarius is engaged in conversation with Govin and Kimrim. Darkcool is present, just kind of hanging out, listening in. And as you enter, all three of them turn their eyes toward you.
So,
Ianfyr, can I help you?
there's something that I need to discuss. And I need to get some opinions with the rest of the group. It could be potentially important.
Understand. Would you like them to gather here?
I'll say, no, we should gather in the place that's more secure.
Ah, I know just the place. Of course. Do you need help gathering everyone? Or shall I just await you in the mirror room?
I would prefer getting everyone together as quickly as possible, yes.
Very well. Darkcool, if you would go and fetch Tess and I'll go and collect Rack. We'll be down there.
Quick question. We're still holding on to like the sending stones that we got recently, right?
That is correct, yes.
Or like the jewelry that allows us to contact each other. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, that is correct. Tess, Darkcool comes down the stairs and approaches the table that you're sitting at. Ianfyr kind of flanking to the side and just across from you. Darkcool says, the captain wants you to come down into the room with like the mirror, if that'd be all right with y'all.
Tess gives a head tilt to the side. Whatever for?
Ianfyr's got something. I'm not really sure.
This must be important. Come on, Scrito. Let's go.
Hopefully yeah, it looks like the teleporter is still working for you guys. Rec, you as well.
Where's the teleport at in the room here? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you have to like go to like the journal, I believe, to do it. I haven't done that in a long time, but Rec, you suddenly hear a soft knock at the door.
What? Rack hops up, goes to the door. What's going on?
My friend, I apologize for disturbing you, but Ianfyr has requested our presence below deck. And, well, he says, kind of under his breath.
All right. On my way.
All right. Everybody kind of moves to the room with the mirror. Actually, see if I can get areas and just manually teleport here. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, you just move into the spot and then you click on the little journal after you click on the journal icon. Go ahead and move everybody else through here. Get everyone into position. There we go. All right. Ianfyr, everyone is now present.
Ever since we came back from the Mirrored Plains, I've been studying a little bit about the language that for some of the spells that were used, and I've been trying to make some heads and tails off of what they were saying, because it is older language than I've seen before. But basically what it comes down to is and then he's going to reach into his pocket and pull out sort of like this old sort of faded like scrap of paper, well, sort of a little bit of like parchment. He goes, a long time ago my I was given this in order to use whenever in case of emergency. I never really understood what it was for. It's never really something that mattered that much to me, especially because I was always looking out for myself. But since comparing some of the notes in the languages, I've discovered that this was essentially a spell to create a teleportation circle. And it's only been recently that I've become a powerful enough sorcerer that I could be able to attempt this. Now I should, while I can create a means to help us on our journey quicker into Schapeben, the issue is that I only know of one location that I can connect it to, and that would be in basically the visitor center to the Mages College in Schapeben.
I see.
So this would cut our trip short?
It would, but it would also, potentially cause problems because it would be a group of us basically appearing right in the middle of the college, unannounced.
How is that a problem, exactly?
Well, I mean, mages aren't typically used to people coming in unannounced, and there is the possibility that security would rush to meet us.
I see. It would be... Well, we definitely shouldn't force our way through.
Ianfyr's quite the charismatic fellow. Do they not know of you?
Oh, they're quite well aware of who I am.
So where would the problem come from? Why would they call security on you?
Well, they're well aware of who I am, but who I am is not exactly a very welcome presence in the college.
Huh? Tess is visibly confused.
I'll say, well, I may have been to the college. I didn't exactly graduate from it.
Tess never knew you were a dropout.
Uh,
Not that
more,
Tess can really judge. Tess has never even been to school.
more that I was a potential acceptee that basically never got in.
Oh.
Interesting that they wouldn't accept such a powerful sorcerer.
I mean, I passed most of the tests, but the problem is wild magic is, by its very nature, wild. And unfortunately, when you're turning the head examiner into a squirrel when they're not supposed to, they tend to frown on that.
Oh.
You see eyes widen in the room.
Tess still thinks we can pull this off. Ianfyr, you're very charismatic. We can back you up.
Indeed. Although I want not to engage in combat with the goodly people of Schapeben. You understand.
I just wanted, because obviously we would have less chance of being hurt if we were continuing on the path against the Jindu, but against, the problem is it does not bode well for our chances right away.
I see. Antarius sort of steps forward, well, as much as he can in such a confined space, says, "If I may, we've labored thus far to get the mirror to Schapeben so that you could study it further. Come what may, as long as you do arrive safely, especially through the waters of Jindu, I think that's mainly the point, yes?"
And then,
Whatever adversity follows through the portal will just have to be dealt with on that side.
so, and then here Ianfyr will go, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not exactly a welcome face within the majority of the populace of Schapeben, at least among the upper class. So there may be the possibility you will face hostility, but just know that no matter what, I always appreciate that you were there for me. And I will do what I can to try to make things right for everyone.
val'faelen, val'faelen inches closer to you and says, "Come what may, I will stand by your side, my friend."
As will Tess.
Antarius kind of turns his gaze toward the floor momentarily. "I'm afraid I won't be accompanying you this time. I'm needed here."
Aww.
Govin also steps forward. That goes for Cameron and myself as well. Darkul, now's your time to shine. I'd like you to go with those heroes. See to it that their mission gets completed. You think you can handle that, my boy? Darkul, silent, just nods. Govin places his hand on Darkul's shoulder. You be safe out there. You can consider this your first mission officially as a noble of Godbury. And if you need anything, you can always have any of the heroes contact Antarius with the stone. You know, we can might not be able to be there, but we can do what we can. Antarius looks over at Kimrin. They nod to each other. And Antarius looks back at you, Ianfyr, and says, "We'll be headed back to Imajokia. It's time I reported my findings to the Queen." And Kimrim kind of steps in here and says, "And we'll be traveling as liaisons from Godbury. We'll plead our case, see what we can find there as far as a cure for the disease, and of course, if you find anything, please let us know as soon as you can." Antarius says, "Of course, if there's any of the crew that you need to take with you, please just let me know. We can make arrangements, and I can change the duty roster." Seeing your hesitance to speak, Antarius continues, "It's late. Why don't we get some rest and we can start on the teleportation in the morning? What do you think?"
Agreed.
Quick question. Are we taking the mirror with us?
I think that's going to be the idea.
Yes. You would be taking the mirror with you.
All right. How about you, Birdman?
I don't know why I can't hear
Toe?
this right now. Let me see. If actually, oh yes,
Friend.
it seems like Scritto is ready to go.
Tess friend. That's Tess's boy.
I'm glad it's working. I can't actually hear the soundboard for some reason. I don't know why.
Just barely heard it.
Yeah, I have no idea why it's not playing for me, but it's not. Lame. All right. So with that, Antarius, Kimrim, Govin, and Darkul proceed back to back above deck. Kind of moving them all at once. I'll be above deck if you need me, in my quarters. What time would you like us to meet here? Or wherever you intend to do the teleportation?
Well, it's probably best to do it at early morning when the college opens.
I see. Bright and early, then. You can count on me. Val'faelen proceeds back above deck.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get some sleep. Gather my things.
Scritto kind of steps forward, places a winged hand on the frame of the mirror, brushing it, and then proceeds back above deck.
Tess will be here bright and early. And then she's going to dismiss herself to go gather her things.
Ianfyr kind of curls up in front of the mirror and goes to sleep there. Ianfyr, are you returning to your quarters as well to sleep?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to go ahead and send you back over there. Well, you can do that as well, I guess. Oh, I seem to have messed things up. Okay, that fixed it. Escrito sits down across from you, silent, but continues eating the meal that he had unfinished before the meeting began.
Tess is going to drink an ale before bed, a nightcap, so to speak.
Nice.
And she's going to sit in silence with Scrito while he eats.
Right. So at this point, you can go ahead and take a long rest. I don't think that's actually going to mean anything for anybody because you've taken several long rests and haven't really used any spells or anything. If you look at your character sheet, underneath your hit dice panel next to your hit points, there's an S rest and L rest button. There you go. And that's how that's. Go ahead and do the same for val'faelen here. All right. Ianfyr. You have some trouble getting to sleep this evening. Your thoughts sort of invading your mind unintentionally. Suddenly you're taken back to the large stone room in which you performed your trials for entrance into the academy. You recall the instructor asking you to cast a specific spell. Your wild magic surges, and the instructor's shape begins to twist. And he becomes this giant ogre. And he begins to move toward you angrily, his foot just above your form. And you snap out of it as soon as his foot comes down upon you. Not what happened. An invasive thought, if you will. The morning comes. It is early. You know that it's time to head below deck. Getting tokens into place here. Go ahead and move yourselves. Oh, you go ahead and move S and Rito. They're okay at the moment. people around. Okay, cool. I think that's everyone that we had.
Where's Ianfyr?
Oh, you know what? Val is standing on Ianfyr. Quite a few folks here. I'm not sure if anybody wanted to reach out to any of the other crew members to come with you for this.
Oh, Tess definitely wanted to reach out to Bogram. My bad. I was AFK for that moment.
Okay, no problem. I'll go ahead and make Bogram present for this. So you probably at some point before you went to sleep had went and spoken with Bogram, who is jumping at the chance to get off this forsaken ship, as he put it.
And Tess could not agree more.
Use prestidigitation to have Tess's mom's skull say, "We're gonna miss you."
Not the feed decides to come with us, Mom. Be quiet.
Should stop making that. Or did none of that come through?
Yeah, it.
I'm gonna say Bogram said, "I wish you'd stop making that thing talk."
Cannot help it. She has a mind of her own.
Ianfyr, do you require room? Should we move to the sides of the walls? I'm not really sure how any of this works, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes two of us here.
I could carry the mirror. That is something that I am capable of doing.
I'm gonna go, as I understand it, I draw the circle, I speak the words, and then we go from here to there. So...
Antaria says, "I, of course, am only here to observe. I just want to make sure that you make it safely."
Would this kind of teleportation make us nauseous by any chance? Or is there any kind of drawbacks to this teleportation circle?
I mean, it's magic. I'm sure it's fine.
Tess is gonna look slightly uncomfortable and say, Tess trusts you.
Yeah, anything at this point to get off the ship. Actually, Bogram, if you'd like to help me study the mirror, I would be greatly appreciative. Bogram steps over and obliges val'faelen.
Yeah, Ianfyr will sort of pull out this this pouch that's going to contain all sorts of like chalk and dust and stuff, and flecked inside you'll see some like little bits of like some flecks of like jewel things that are sprinkled within. So it'll definitely look very shiny as he starts drawing the sigils. And I'm sure some folks will definitely if anyone is sort of like relatively observant, they will notice that these flecks are actually like pieces of like, you know, some sizable jewel.
Ooh, shiny.
val'faelen and Bogram drape the cloth back over the mirror, obscuring it, and grab it and pick it up as you finish drawing your runes upon the floor. You double check using your notes, and everything appears to be in order.
And then okay, then I'll go, okay, well, here's to hoping. So anyone, when this is active, anyone who steps through, you should appear instantaneously at the college.
Would you like us to go first with the mirror? Or would anyone else like to take the
Tess
lead?
does not think the mirror should go through first, just in case.
I agree. I think perhaps a few others should go in first, and then we send the mirror in afterwards, and I'll just come in last, just in case.
Tess immediately raises her hand. Tess will go.
Indeed. Do you have a verbal component for the spell?
Yeah, so, because this is, let me see, yeah, verbal and, oh yeah, material. Actually, Ianfyr is going to go, ooh, now that I'm thinking about it, just in case. I'm going to go, well, it's a good thing I've been working on this just in case. And he's going to use, or he's going to go, say, let me see. He's going to say it's morphing time.
Wait, what are you changing into?
Ianfyr's going to change himself into a dragonborn.
All right. Ianfyr turns into a dragonborn. What color of dragonborn?
Blue.
Val'faelen's eyes widen suddenly. I'm not understanding.
Do not worry. I am simply protecting my identity for the time being.
I see. A wise choice. And, a handsome choice as well.
Wow, it's almost like two val'faelens in one room. They're just different colors.
It
if
is-
you combine, you could make purple.
It is not like two val'faelens in one.
It is exactly like two val'faelens. Tess has never seen more than one dragonborn in one room.
Ianfyr, where'd your token go?
That's a good question. Is it because I transform? Oh no, I'm at the very edge. I'm right on top of
I
Ontario's.
was like, what the fuck?
Alter self completely disappears.
I'm afraid I did not prepare a token for that, but for all, for all intents and purposes, you are now a blue dragonborn.
Can't you put like a little icon or something just to note the alter self?
Yeah, I definitely can do that.
Just for timing purposes.
Absolutely. Let me I believe you just turned yourself into a dragonborn.
Oh, I guess it doesn't do it. It just casts the spell. No, it didn't even do that.
That made you invisible. These actually have like a different thing. I don't really have like a thing I can do with this. I don't really have anything I can do for that. That's okay though. I've got it. I've got it noted on the side here.
All right.
All that's left for you is to open the portal, hey?
Yeah. I was trying to see if it would allow me to put a thing in there, but I guess not. But
all right. So you've got your circle drawn. You've got your material components in place. All that's left is the verbal component. Take it away, Ianfyr.
open forth to the Mages' College.
There's sort of a sudden gust of wind as as light fills the room. It's sort of like a swirling purple vortex of light centered around the circle that's been drawn on the floor of the the malicious cargo chamber of the ship. Well then, after you lot.
Here goes everything. Tess will be the first to hop in.
Rex steps up right behind her.
You see them vanish through the portal. Well, Ianfyr, will you bring up the rear? val'faelen and Bogrum step through the portal with the mirror, and they vanish. Ianfyr follows suit right behind them. Misku and Talanith also follow suit through the portal. Grito, right behind Tess, follows through, as well as Darkpool. Antarius looks at you the last through the portal, Ianfyr, and says, "Be safe, my friend." Ianfyr steps through the portal and vanishes. At this point, we're going to go ahead and take a 15-minute intermission. 15-minute intermission. So we will be back with the conclusion of. I'll see you then. Welcome back. All right, so everybody has just stepped through the portal. I would like everyone to go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
No.
Oh, you have nothing to worry about unless you roll a 1, right? Constitution saving throw. So if you go to your character sheet, yeah, I think you've got it.
I hate you. It's still an 8. It's still an 8.
Did we roll the same 8?
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Oh
Not the first one. Not the first critical fail of the year.
There's 2. 2 of them crit failed.
God, not 2 crit fails. Oh man, 2024 has it out for us already.
You and your boys, they're gonna mess you up. I rolled a 1. I
mean, to make sense, this is the first time I've cast this
I rolled
spell.
a 1. Fuck.
Ianfyr coming through. Me and my boys gonna mess you up. I rolled a 1. I rolled a 1.
Pretty much.
For a moment, it's dark. There's like swirling energy surrounding you, and everything is cold. You step through into a rather much warmer room. There's still a bit of a chill in the air, but as your eyes focus, you were in a round room. Rek, Ianfyr, you immediately kind of bend over and lurch. You're able to maintain yourself for at least a moment before you lose your entire breakfast, just all over the floor. Ianfyr. Wait, what the fuck? I'm missing a piece on this thing. Where?
I just want to know how Darkpool, Skrito, and Bogrum handle the transition.
They passed. They passed it. Bogrum looks a little woozy, but is going to be okay. Ianfyr, I would like you to go ahead and roll a perception check, if you would, while I fix the scene that I've just set up. Wait. There we go.
Sorry, give me a sec. Also, looks like this is the might need to do an update because I did change the I think I changed the character sheet about a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago.
Oh, you got to let me know when you do that.
Because I think I did it when you asked us to do it the last time, which might have been when we were still doing some of the updates. But
oh, I should have updated if you told me. Either way.
Let me see. And you said you needed which one again?
Perception, if you please. This will just come from Ianfyr. The rest of you, I'll explain in just a second. Get that perception roll from Ianfyr here.
Oh, there we go.
Very nice. Very nice. Ianfyr, you recognize two of the many people that you see, or, well, two of the handful of people that you see in this room. Firstly, I should mention for everybody, you are surrounded by not only guards, but 4 elementals, elemental myrmidons. They are all poised and ready to attack you, but they hold fast. The guards all surrounding you have bows drawn, arrows trained on your position. Behind the desk sits a what looks to be an elven woman. But Ianfyr, you recognize 2 of these people. One, a male tiefling. His name is Chorum Torzalan. You know him actually as Professor Torzalan. This is the self-same person that you had just described. You flash back for just a moment to the instructor, the professor, who had asked you to cast... Oh, what spell was that again? Ah, yes, Fireball. But you couldn't be asked to do that in that instance, as your wild magic surged, and and Professor Torzalan's shape twisted into that of a squirrel. Professor Torzalan, as soon as you warp in, locks eyes with you, and you see his eyebrows furl and his nostrils flare.
Am I still a Dragonborn?
Yes, but the professor, the professor has locked eyes with you, and his eyebrows furl, and his and his nostrils flare. You know he can see straight through that. However, there is another person in the room, not locking eyes with you, but looking around the rest of everyone. This is also a person that you recognize. His name is Sergeant Thorn Stormrider. And this is the very same guard that used to give you so much trouble in the Harbor District. Judging by his appearance and the armor that he's donning, it looks like he may have gotten a promotion since the last time you and he interacted.
Question. Tess was the first one that went through the portal. Is she the first one who appeared, or did we all just kind of appear all at once?
You all kind of like really very quickly next to each other.
I do want to make note that when Tess comes through this portal, she's going to immediately have her hands up.
So does Val as well.
Yeah,
well, Val's holding the mirror, but you know.
She means no harm, and she just wants them to know that. She doesn't even speak. She just has her hands up.
As you all appear through the portal, Ianfyr, Professor Torzalan approaches you. I can understand why you wanted to hide your appearance, young man, but do not slap me in the face as such. And he waves his hand, and your spell that is hiding your yourself as a dragonborn immediately dissipates.
What can you say? I've always been a little nuts.
How do you spell Torzalan?
Torzal'an. I'll have a card for him eventually. Well, come next session,
Okay,
I'll have a
thank you.
card for
I just
him.
needed it for note taking. Thank you.
That's he's a professor at the Institute of Thaumaturgy. No sooner does your alter self fade than than Sergeant Stormrider steps forward. Ah. If it isn't my old friend, Ianfyr.
Ah,
Seems I've finally got you right where I want you. He
well, if it
pulls
isn't
out
the
his bow and trains it directly on you.
well, if it isn't the cloud and the rainy day. But where's the thunder?
Professor Torzalan sighs, very deep sigh, and says, Ianfyr, teleportation from the other continent and outside of our continent otherwise has been banished, or has been banned. As such, I have no choice. Guards, arrest them. And he starts to kind of pace back toward the desk, where the female elf, or female elf? Is this a female elf? Oh, right. Where the elf is sitting, kind of scribbling in the book after looking up at the lot of you and writing. Yes, you can input here. Ianfyr and party have been escorted to the prison. Sergeant Stormrider. All right, Ianfyr. Don't want any trouble, okay?
Before the professor leaves, Ian, I'm going to call out, it's about Faraka.
I'm sorry. What?
You know. Faraka, what was it, Faraka Melbourne?
Faraka Malborn, yeah.
Let's see,
Starts to
we
kind
found
of pace
something.
toward you.
And I'll say, this isn't regarding Faraka Melbourne.
Go on.
We found an object tied to events that are happening across the seas that may have to do with Faraka Melbourne.
If my memory serves, the dwarf, folk legend, that was many, many years ago. What? His eyebrow kind of cocks. He's perplexed. Go on. State your case.
We traveled to the abandoned ruins of Dintherum, where we found a mirror. A mirror of magical properties, which connects to an alternate reality. One of many realities.
Darkul takes a step forward and says, "It's true. I am a liaison of House Godbury. We mean you no harm, firstly, and secondly, the mirror back here is the artifact in question." He kind of hesitates. He doesn't really know how to handle this situation.
Tess is going to walk up behind Darkpool and place a hand on his shoulder. What we say is the truth. We just come here seeking advice. We mean no harm. Ianfyr means no harm. And also, Ianfyr is one of the best sorcerers that Tess has ever known, so how dare you?
Professor Torzalan steps forward a bit more, says, "Look, this isn't something I'm proud of. If you could just go quietly, I'm sure this will all get sorted out. But as it stands, teleportation from any other place then this continent has been banned. We
As
know
of
that you've
when?
come from the sea.
As of when?
As of us receiving word of the spread of the virus, the magical plague that you know is sweeping across the other continent. Look, just go quiet. We'll get this taken care of. You won't be there for long.
I was gonna give you a slice of cake.
Ianfyr, are you getting a slice of cake right now? Can I have one?
Trust us. Tess has been studying this exact plague.
Sergeant Stormrider puts his bow away, places his hand on your shoulder, Ianfyr, and looks you dead in the eyes and says, "Now look, just come quietly, okay? This doesn't have to be complicated."
Can I roll an insight to see if we're like truly in danger here?
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll insight. As you do that, though, val'faelen says, "Promise us that you'll keep the artifact safe, secure, even." Hess, you feel that everyone in the room is being genuine, and you are not in any immediate danger. Unless, of course, you draw your weapon.
Okay.
Ianfyr?
She
Oh, go ahead.
sighs. And she waits for Ianfyr to lead.
Professor Torzalan, responding to val'faelen, says, "Of course, you have my word." And, Tess, with your insight roll, you know that he is telling you. Ianfyr? Your call?
Say, all right, you know the way. Still got the C block ready.
So you have been in prison before, is it?
Well, let's just say old Sparky here, as I sort of slap on the shoulder of the sergeant. We've run into each other a few times.
Oh, Sparky, I like that. The guards come around. They gather your weapons. One of the guards stands next to you and casts what appears to be a anti-magic field on himself, and proceeds to stand next to the casters. You follow the rest of the guard as they escort you down the tower and into the city proper. I'm going to go ahead and activate the Schapeben city map. You should now see that populating your screen. Is that correct? Everybody have it?
Yep.
So, you are coming from the Institute of Thaumaturgy, which is here in the west. And they are escorting you to the castle district here in the north. Ianfyr, you know this. The rest of you, they kind of lead you through the city streets. Ianfyr, I'd like you to go ahead and give me 2 perception checks, if you please. I like your dice.
Thank you.
All right, 10 and a 9. As you're being led through the city with the guard, you happen to notice there's a person who looks strangely familiar, just vaguely, looking on from the crowd. As you pass by, they vanish. Minutes pass as you trudge your way through the market square, and finally to the castle district. Many buildings lie beyond the walls of the castle district. As
Wait a
the
minute. sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
We're all walking together, right?
Yes, we are all walking together.
So, assuming that Tess is still next to Darkpool, she's going to lean over and say,
For what it's worth, Tess thinks you are a really good liaison.
Thanks. Well, I didn't think that the first thing that would happen would I'd end up in a prison, but
No one ever expects these things. Just be proud of your actions.
indeed, when I first came to Godbury, the first thing that happened to Antarius and I was we were accosted by assassins. You can imagine, as liaisons from Imajokia, how garden. This, well, I'll take this over an assassin any day.
Tess thinks you're doing a wonderful job, Darkhold. Hang in there. Do not be so hard on yourself.
Indeed. And I'm sure this will be over soon. You enter through the gates of the castle district, and a wide courtyard opens up into sort of this image of almost like a cityscape with buildings that just kind of cascade before you. The tops of these buildings, a bright purple hue. Ianfyr, you know this to be part of the colors of Schapeben. Their colors of their flag being purple and gold. You're led to a place that you're quite familiar with, Ianfyr, the Sentinel Scouts HQ. So this is a building within the castle district, which the guard, they're called the Sentinel Scouts, and they reside here. As you enter, Iolanthe, you notice firstly that Iolanthe's shapeshift is immediately reverted. She reverts back to her humanoid form, and as for the rest of you, you can almost feel all of the magic power draining from you. You have crossed into an anti-magic field.
This makes Tess feel super sleepy.
It is draining indeed. Whoa, hey, I didn't realize we still had the ocean sounds playing. A little bit, that's not how that's supposed to be. All right. Before long, or as soon as you're led into the Sentinel Scouts HQ, the guards break off, and the sergeant says, all right, if you'll just follow me, please. Right this way, and ushers you into a stairwell, which you slowly trudge down behind this guard, his armor clanking against the steps. You finally round a corner, and the smell, it's like an iron smell just permeates your nostrils. It's cold and wet, damp. The corner of this room has a wooden desk, the only vestige of a world, or of the surface world, humanity. Yes, if you'll please leave your gear upon the table. A drow looking up from the text that she has been scribbling at, gestures vaguely toward the table. Any magical artifacts or armor, if you would, please. val'faelen steps forward and starts to remove pieces of his armor and set them on the table without hesitation. Bagram takes off his cap and places it on the table, and then steps back. Got nothing else. Oh, I got nothing else. I don't know what you want from me, he says. Next, please.
Tess will approach the counter and she will hand over her quarterstaff and her entire bag except for her mother's skull.
You don't have to remove any of this from your inventory right now. Don't worry about
Yeah.
that, please. I don't want to go through those logistics.
I didn't think so.
I know. Just to be clear with everybody, though.
She will gladly hand over her quarterstaff and any armor that she has on, which she already has some pretty light armor. The one thing she will not give up is her mother's skull. She will hand over her entire bag, just not the skull.
Oh. Wait. What? Where did he go? He's supposed to be in this scene. Oh, there he is. Okay. Sorry about that. Yes. Thank you. Next, please.
Rex steps up and he's like, all right, this is going to take a minute. And he throws his shield up there, throws his helmet, slings a bag over, starts unloading his armor, throwing everything on the desk. It's bound to start creaking with the amount of weight.
Does he throw the
He's
stuff up
taking
there?
it.
This
Yeah.
drow is like taking everything and putting it in a chest right behind her.
But they already took all my weapons, right?
Yes. The
Okay.
the other guards have they handed it to Sergeant. The sergeant here who has placed everything on the desk. Otherwise,
All right.
yes. Thank you. Next, please. And Ianfyr steps forward and hands over any gear and magical items, as well as Darkul. Well, if that's all, you're clear. Now, follow me. I don't want any trouble, okay? Oh shit, I'm doing the wrong I'm doing the wrong accent. You don't want any trouble, okay? He slowly unlocks the gate with a key that he has strapped to his waist and opens up the gate and steps through. You all follow suit. Oop. All right, go ahead and follow the guard here. And you're going to follow him all the way down to the end of the hallway. As you guys walk by, you see another one of the guards there. It looks to be a drow standing at the gate of a cell. It appears to be speaking. Yes, that one right there appears to be speaking to someone within. As the sergeant passes by, he says, "Shay, what have we told you about speaking with the prisoners?" Sorry. I'll be on my way then. And he continues his or they continue their patrol.
Tess is going to turn around and look over her shoulder and kind of memorize the drow's face.
Okay. You have memorized the drow's face.
And she'll stare at them for a second and see if they can make eye contact.
You note that this that the guard referred to that person as Shay, Shay, Shay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they notice Tess staring at them?
Yeah, they look over at you and make eye contact momentarily before they look away and return to their duties.
So when they make eye contact, Tess will just smile.
They kind of awkwardly kind of grin back with like kind of a half smile and continue their duties, looking away from the sergeant who appears to be sort of annoyed that this took place.
Yeah. Tess is going to note that for the future, but she'll continue moving along in the line.
The guard unlocks or the sergeant unlocks one of the doors to the cells. Everyone in, please. One at a time, single file. Here, off you go. And one at a time, you all load into the cell here. Inside the cell, the air is quite acrid, filled with a sort of metallic scent. As the last one of you goes through, he locks the gate behind you and proceeds down the hall. Ianfyr, roll another perception check, please. Oh, Ianfyr, are you AFK? I think you might
give
be.
me a sec.
Oh, okay, sorry. Ianfyr, as you go through the cell, and as he locks it behind you, you notice him kind of look up at you with a bit of a smirk, like, I finally got him.
Before he leaves, I'll be like, so whose palms you grease for that promotion?
Wouldn't you like to know? At any rate, try to be on your best behavior and no funny business, eh? He starts to meander down the hallway once more.
So who is that wonderful ray of sunshine?
Oh, he was the one who would be watching on the district when the ships came in. Kinda was a little lowly patrol guard. And I was always the one who got away.
You weren't joking when you said we'd be met with, well, this.
Well, this is a little more serious than I was expecting. If they're canceling teleportation, then magic must be more seriously affecting this disease than I've thought.
Indeed. No one can teleport from the other continent, it would seem. Travel by ship has been restricted enough from the orcs from Jindu. Oh,
It is to be expected, I suppose. We always have been a bit sheltered with the wars with the Jindu. And I imagine with this disease, it's been all the excuse that's been needed to try to wall us off.
do I actually have a...
Was there any reaction when Rek pulled his helmet off and revealed that he was a half-orc?
No, there didn't seem to be. It seems like these folks have seen their share of orcs.
Okay.
That's actually kind of... that's a good point, though. That is kind of unlike anything that you've seen on the other continent.
Is Scrito not in the jail?
Oh,
with us,
shoot.
or
I'm
in the
so sorry. I
prison?
totally forgot about
Yes.
Scrito.
My son. You can't forget about my son.
That's
my boy.
Scrito is 1000% there. One moment.
Boy.
Yeah, sorry. I've got a lot of things I'm trying to manage. They might have probably taken like a whoa, hey, a Kenku, but yeah, much to your surprise, Rek, they did not bat an eyelash at you. Well, what's next, I wonder?
Do we just wait here until we go through proper trial?
Seems to be all we can do.
Ianfyr,
Well-
you have any idea what happens from here? Have you been in this jail before, this exact cell, or different cell?
No, this is the first time I've actually been inside here. Most of the times, I've usually been got an escape route before they was actually caught. Closest I've come there's been a couple of times where I was waiting outside, and then I had someone who came to come get me.
From outside the cell, you hear a sort of sir, well, Ianfyr, is it?
Fargo, yes.
I'm That is, you, well, hmm, have a, visitor, as it were.
Oh. And here Ianfyr's eyes are going to kind of go a little wide and go, oh, please don't be who I think it is.
One moment, if you please. And he walks off back down the hallway and appears a sort of taller elven figure appears in the silhouette before you. What? Really? Seriously? I totally... Hold on. Nope, I got this. Hold up. Ianfyr, a very tall elven figure of a woman appears next to the gate. 2 entire years. 2 entire years, and I find my son in a jail cell, and somehow I'm not surprised.
Ianfyr's mother?
Come into the light, my son.
I'll sort of step out and say, well, I would figure you would be surprised considering I usually get out of this beforehand, but this requires some more help from the authority figures.
You don't, right? You don't let me know that you're safe? What was I supposed to think? I have been worried sick. No, don't even talk. She closes her eyes and just... You can see she's very, very upset. She tucks her hands behind her back in that same way you've always known her to do, and we have been so worried about you. Where have you been?
I'll say, I've been with my friends here. We've been helping out over across the seas.
So this plague, that didn't occur to you that maybe that would be something you should avoid, perhaps?
Well, I may have possibly, not saying for sure, but there is a chance that I may have been involved with the plague being out.
Okay. Well, once again, you've managed to only, of course, consider yourself, right? Look, I'll see what I can do. I've got significant pull with the Institute, at least as my limited means as a librarian or a library curator. Hold tight. And she sort of paces off down the hallway until she disappears. Ianfyr?
So that was Mother.
I gathered as much.
Although, to say Mother in the terms that she raised me, she's not my biological mother. To be honest, I don't know who is.
Interesting. Yes, I might have noticed you're half elfish and she a full-blooded elf. Um, where, well, you mentioned you were adopted. I suppose you don't know your father either.
I don't know much about my past. I don't know if you've noticed with this culture, with elves in general, they don't generally tend to mingle with non-elves, at least not in a relationship sense. So, needless to say, I've never been the favorite around here.
Actually, another voice from outside, or the same voice from before, from outside the cell. Actually, since apparently you've been gone, things have changed quite a bit. Especially with the Institute. I probably shouldn't be talking to you, but it seems as though the woman who was here is talking to the guards. I thought you would want to know. From down the hall, you hear the voice of the sergeant once more. Shay, I thought I told you not to talk to the prisoners. If you would, go back to your duties. And Shay kind of shuffles back off down the hall. Right. That was quick. Well, if you'll please back away from the gate, I am to let you out now. So if you could please back away, give some room. Yes, please back away.
And here you are talking to prisoners. Interesting.
I've got my
don't
duties.
Get used to it. Yeah, don't get used to it. He doesn't like to. He doesn't like to talk to prisoners because then that makes them seem like humans.
Tess can definitely see that.
Sir, if you could please back away from the gate. Looking at you, Rek.
What?
If you could please back away from the gate, I will let you out. Yes? He unlocks the gate and opens the door. Everybody starts to pile out.
As we get out, so this would have been about, what, say 2 minutes time?
Yes. Ianfyr, as you attempt to cross through, you're stopped by the sergeant. Oh, not you. He places you back inside and locks the door behind you. Instructions from, well, I think you know who. We're very clear.
I was like, well, hey, it's a personal record for you.
Indeed. I still have you right where I want you. I'll see about moving into one of the smaller cells. Of course, we might need the larger ones for others. Maybe something in a nice west wing where I don't have to see you anymore. At any rate, the rest of you are free to go if you'll follow me, please. And he starts to make his way back down the hall. Shay kind of looks back up at you, Tess, with sort of just out of the top of his brow, or their brow, and continues going about their work. Finally, Bagram says. 2 minutes is enough time in a cell for me.
Can you repeat that?
Bagram says, finally, 2 minutes is enough time in a cell for me. Grito kind of cautiously follows behind. I'm going to go ahead and grab all the NPCs and other players that are not present first. And
Tessa's gonna hang behind a little bit.
as val'faelen starts down the hallway, he looks towards you, Ianfyr, and says, "Don't worry, my friend. I'll get this figured out one way or another."
The main thing is the mirror. We have to figure that out.
Indeed. He continues back behind the sergeant.
Rec holds back as well. Hey, you sure about this, man?
Believe me. They've never been able to hold me for very long, even when they could.
You're sure you're going to be okay, friend? Tess does not like leaving a friend behind.
It's the first time. It's the first time I've been here without. And then Ianfyr will sort of like pause and he'll go. But as long as you guys are outside and safe,
From down the hall, you hear,
I'll be okay.
Tess rolls her eyes.
Tess will make sure you do not rot in this cage.
And then she'll start walking her way out. But as she passes by Shay, she would like to kind of lean over and say,
Please take care of my friend. We're good people, I promise.
yeah. I mean, no harm can come to him here.
Thank you.
You guys all kind of pile back into the original room where you find Ianfyr's mother. She's waiting. The guard, Sergeant Stormrider, approaches her. "Well, I'll leave it to you then." And proceeds to exit the room. Some logistical stuff real quick. Yes. Nice to meet you. I'm Sarina Jamalor. I apologize for, the condition of our meeting. I am Ianfyr's, adoptive mother. There'll be plenty of time to talk if you'd like. Please, accompany me to Jamalor Manor. I will prepare some tea. And she starts to leave as well. Is everybody going to go with her, or does anybody have anything to say here?
Rex steps over to the table and he's like, "All right, give me my stuff."
Yes, right away. Yes.
While you're at it, all of our stuff, please.
Merely, if you would, please. Yes, sister. And she turns around and starts pulling all of your effects out of the chest and setting them on the table. And as she does, you're scooping them up and reattaching them and redonning your armor and all of that. Before long, you are all re-kitted, ready to roll. And Serena starts to make her way toward the
Mrs. Jamador, if you would.
Yes.
Is there a big reason why Ianfyr has to stay behind?
I'll explain that once we get back to the house, if you please. He'll be fine.
Okay.
Tessa's going to reach her hand out for Scrito so that she can hold the little Kenku hand while they walk along.
You hold the little Kenku hand.
Yes.
One moment. Let me get up here. Right. Oh, it actually. Wait. Hey, I did it. Oh, what? Aw, okay.
I was gonna say somewhere out there, Iolanthe is growling at the Kenku having a hand where it should have feathers.
Indeed. Indeed.
It's unsettling.
Oh, come on. Where did I put that? There it is. Okay. Okay. All right. Serena leads you through town, out of the castle district and into what's known as, or what you can tell is, sort of an upper city district. Basically, this is like housing. It's like upper class housing, essentially. Until finally you arrive at a sort of well, it's sort of a larger estate. It's a one-story building, but it's rather large compared to other houses that you had passed by on your way here. Go ahead and enable that scene. You may not be able to see this, Ianfyr, and so sorry about that, but you are still in the prison. So.
You can see it on our stream at twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv
Guild
/
Gamers. Like and subscribe.
Here we are. If you'll follow me inside, I'll prepare some tea. She crosses through the first gate and into the house proper.
I can't enter.
Can you not?
It says I'm colliding with a wall.
Oh, okay.
The attempted movement collides with at least one wall.
Yes. There. Fixed.
Thank you, oh gracious DM.
Indeed. Welcome to Jamalor Manor. I suppose I've some explaining to do, but first, please, make yourselves at home. Let me get some tea. She is going to proceed through a doorway, and, through an archway, and into what appears to be another room. I'm going to go ahead and cut back to the prison at this point. Ianfyr. Oh, right. Sorry. Forgot to remove your tokens from this scene. Wham. Okay. Ianfyr. Once again, and at this point, probably about 30 minutes have passed. You once again hear a voice at the gate. Hello, Mr. Ianfyr?
Yes.
Well, you, I'm sorry. You, have another guest, visitor.
I can't imagine who, but okay.
I'll go retrieve them. Sorry. And he, or they, proceed to walk away. Before long, you are, someone else appears at the gate. I'd like you to go ahead and roll a wisdom check. Actually, no, go ahead and roll a perception if you would.
Perception.
Yeah, that passes. You squint. Your senses definitely that this is absolutely not possible. But before you stands the figure of Sarahi.
Okay, what is this?
Ianfyr. 2 entire years you don't write, you don't anything. And here I find you once again.
Okay, this is not funny.
What?
No, this seriously is not funny. And like here, you'll like, even though there's like still, I imagine there's still like magic things that are going on dampening, like the eyes sort of will glow like bright as he goes, this is really not funny.
Ianfyr, are you okay?
You're talking to the person who found you.
Found
lying
me.
dead.
She kind of backs off a step from the jail cell. I assure you, I'm quite alive. Are you feeling okay? This
I'll
is
say, do not test me.
I'd like you to go ahead and roll a insight check. As far as you can tell, she is absolutely being genuine. You can see that the confusion written on her face is 100% clear.
I'll say, then this really sounds like this is like, I'm gonna put this. If what I found was a prank, it is a very, very cruel prank.
I assure you, I have no idea what you mean. Look, if I'm not welcome here, I can leave. I figured I'd just come and, well, see if I could get you out of here, but, I'm sorry. It's been 2 entire years. You left without saying anything to anyone.
I'll say, I'm not sure what's going on here.
I still
But
don't know
if
what
you can
mean.
get me out, I will accept any help I can get.
Of course. I saw them leading you through town. I've already talked to Father. I'm doing everything I can. A few minutes, maybe? We could, we could meet up at the tree after you're out. If that's okay. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'll say, it's been a long time.
2 years, Ian. You could have written. I didn't know what happened to you. Why did you? I mean, maybe now's not the time. Why did you go? Ianfyr?
I'll explain more when we're out.
I understand. I'll be waiting at the usual spot. Yeah. She starts to leave, but as she is walking away, she kind of looks back at you toward the cell until she's around the corner and you can no longer see. We're going to go ahead and cut back to Jamalor Manor, where Serena now comes out from the kitchen and starts to pass out cups of tea to everyone. I'm sure you all have questions. I do as well. So, you're Ianfyr's friends, yeah? Yes. His friends, indeed. It is good to make the acquaintance of his adoptive mother, as it were.
Tess is just going to make herself comfy on one of the chairs in the kitchen, and she's going to smell the tea, try to figure out what kind of tea it is.
I'd like you to go ahead and roll, I'll let you roll either a perception or an investigation. That's your choice. Val actually sits down in a chair next to you at what appears to be a dining table.
I'm sorry, perception or what?
Either a perception or an investigation. That's up to you.
We're gonna go perception.
This is like a green tea. It has sort of an earthy scent to it. Very leafy. It's sort of on the clear side. It's not very deep green, but the smell kind of permeates your olfactory, and actually it smells rather good and warm.
Tess appreciates the tea. Thank you.
Of course, the least I could do for my son's friend. I apologize for, well, that is to say, he'll be out in the morning. Look, been 2 entire years. It's been 2 entire years, you understand. Perhaps I do hold a bit of bitterness. The others start to sort of pile into the room here. Tess, behind you is actually a window. You can see out into a sort of, actually, let me go ahead and open that up. So you can see out into a backyard. It seems to have like a garden and some flowers, a tree.
What kind of flowers? What do I have to roll to see it? Is it like a...
You don't have to
Nature?
roll
Is it
anything.
like a nature?
Well, yeah, you know what? Yeah, roll a nature. Let's see if you can identify them.
Okay, because that's not her strongest suit, but... Hey, not bad.
While I don't have a specific name for these flowers, these are actually a common variety that's used to make flower tea.
Okay, so it's like a tea farm.
That's right. It looks like she, judging by everything that's outside, it looks like she grows not only her own tea, but also her own herbs and vegetables.
Okay. Quite the homestead you have set up here.
Oh, I am part of the noble class in Schapeben. The Jamalors have we're a long line of nobility. That would continue with Ianfyr, as it were, if he were to accept such an prestigious
Sorry
title.
to interrupt. Scanning around the room, she notices Bogrum's hanging behind. Bogrum, get over here.
right. Comes in. He's not really happy with the tea situation. You've seen him like set it down on the table and he just kind of forgets about it.
Tea is not to your liking?
Nah. Yeah, I could use something a bit harder, to be honest.
Mrs. Jamilo, do you have anything that could suit Bogram's taste?
Well, I've got some morning ale if you'd like. Sure. Whatever.
Bogram, we say thank you.
He like does this really sarcastic bow and says, "Thank you."
What a flourish. Surely he'll outgrow it someday. Thank you so much, Mrs. Jamilor.
Don't mention it. And she walks into the back room for a moment and then comes back out. Ale. I made it yesterday. I do hope you enjoy it. Whatever. Starts to guzzle this
Thank
ale and then just sets it
you.
back down.
Tess is going to just stare at Bagram and be like, thank you. Thank
you,
Mrs. Jamilor.
Mrs. Jamilor.
Tess will admit he's a work in progress.
You mentioned that Ianfyr left some 2 years ago. She sits down across from val'faelen and sips her tea. Yes, he's always been a bit wayward. He just didn't say anything to any of us. No letters, no nothing. Suffice it to say, I've been worried. Sarahi has been worried. We've all been. Tess, go ahead and roll a wisdom check. Let's go ahead and make that. Actually, everybody go ahead and roll a wisdom check.
$18 is the number of the day for me.
Right. Tess, you recall one evening, it was at a pub, I believe in, I don't think it was in, I think it was in, Godbury.
Bunavar.
Or I think it was in Bunavar, yeah. Where Ianfyr had explained to you about, the reason that he left Schapeben. And it was following the murder of Sarahi, his friend. So to hear her name invoked now, well,
Tessa's ears will kind of twitch at the name as she recalls the memory. Sarahi.
Ianfyr's mentioned her. They were very close friends.
Tess was understanding that Sarahi was no longer on the mortal plane, so to speak.
Well, no. I assure you, she's very much alive. What?
Insight check?
Go ahead. She's telling the truth. She is being 100% sincere. The look of confusion that has adorned her face now has definitely given that away.
Maybe Tess just misremembers.
Could be.
Gonna try to deception her way out of this.
There maybe has been some sort of misunderstanding. Interesting. Well, at any rate, as I said before, Ianfyr will be released come the morning.
Any reason in particular he could not be released now?
Again, 2 years. He didn't write. He left without saying anything. None of us had any idea. This is, I guess, a sort of punishment.
This seems to be more of a emotional thing, more of something that should be discussed with family instead of keeping your adopted son locked up for an extra day while his friends roam free. Correct?
You're probably right. To be honest, and she stands up from her chair and sort of paces away from you, saying, I was never really cut out for parenthood. I found Ianfyr, you see.
Found.
Maybe I'm not the best parent in the world. I'm just doing my best, and I'm still a bit angry at him. I should go have him released, shouldn't I?
Tess thinks you should, and Tess would love to accompany you to go and free Ianfyr. If you would like to accompany at least.
He nods. You're right. What was I thinking? It is, however, good to meet you all. I do wish that I could offer you accommodation, but you understand, this is a two-family home. And I've not the room for, such a large band of his companions.
Not to worry, Tess is comfortable sleeping under the stars.
On that note, if I might suggest, don't really know much about you, if I may. And she sort of is, she's implying that she wants to ask you questions, if that's okay.
Go on.
And once again she paces back toward the table and takes a seat. She kind of looks around the room at each of you in turn and says, well, how did you meet my son?
I'm taking notes if someone wants to go first.
Well, let's see. I was in the abyss, hell. It was a terrible place.
Yeah, it was hell. It was actually hell, yes.
Yeah, I was in hell, and I came across him in an alleyway. He was trying to sell me a soul or something. No, wait.
We sound like the best kind of friends. They want to meet your mom.
And I followed him because he looked out of place there. Didn't seem like he should have been there. So I followed him, and we became friends.
In hell, my son has been to hell.
I've been through a lot in my life, and sometimes you just don't know how you got there.
To be fair, have we all not been through hell and back? Metaphorically?
Maybe it's best that I don't ask. Oh, well, we had first traveled to hell from an ancient dwarven ruin. You understand? Ruins? Hell? What? She seems fucking flabbergasted at this point.
Here.
Well, we had taken a mission, as it were, to go to an ancient dwarven ruin called Ianfyr, where Kimrim Godbury, the explorer, I'm sure you're familiar. Go on. Well, she had asked us to accompany them to this ruin and, procure any knowledge therein. While we were there, we found a mirror and, a portal. And Tess asked us to go in the portal, and so we did, and we wound up perhaps in... I don't think this is helping, Tess. Do you have anything? He looks over at you.
In Tess's opinion, it does not matter how we met Ianfyr. As long as Tess has known Ianfyr in our many adventures, he has turned out to be one of the most loyal friends that Tess could ever have.
Not to mention a very powerful sorcerer.
He is smart. He always seems to know what to do. And he's a really good friend.
And he saved my life more than a handful of times, I must say.
Tess's as well. Tess is not the smartest, but Ianfyr is always there to back her up when she needs. That's all that matters to Tess. Not how we met, but the bond that we have formed through our adventures. You should place a lot more confidence in your adopted son.
Perhaps you're right. Well, it's been very nice to meet you all. If I might suggest, if you're not keen on camping outside the city walls, there's always the inn. We've a couple in town. Well, here in Schapeben, things have not been very active lately. You understand, what with the war, and now with the plague and teleportation being cut off from the other continent, we are, not like to get any tourism. That is to say, most of the inns are vacant. It's like that you could rent rooms there. Indefinitely, I'm sure. You might try that if you are not want to sleep, as you put it, out under the stars and prefer the comfort of a bed. But, of course, I'm just offering my advice, you know.
It is something to be considered, thank you. Tess is sure that Balgrim especially would appreciate the bed.
Bagram can speak for himself and would definitely appreciate a bed.
Knew it.
And, possibly, something to drink that is a little bit less, water, with the slightest bit of it. And, Val kind of, like, sharply elbows him in the side, and he's like, ugh!
In Tess's opinion, Bagram needs to be drinking more water anyway, so the more watered down, the better. Also some vegetables. We need to get some vegetables in this man. There is also the matter of releasing Ianfyr.
Yeah.
Tess would prefer to meet up with him sooner rather than later, so we can figure out the inn situation.
Well, shall we be off then?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and remove everybody from the scene here. And let's go ahead and cut back to the prison. It's going to take you some time to get there. In the meantime, Ianfyr. Once again, you hear a voice call to you from the gates. Mr. Ianfyr, was it? Hello?
Yes.
You are, well, you're free to go. And he sort of like, or they sort of like unlock the gate and open it up. After you.
I'll say okay. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's what. Hang on a sec.
Yeah. Gonna go ahead and cut the BRB for just a second. We're back. Ianfyr, the guard leads you down the hallway. I'm gonna go ahead and drag your token as well, since you kind of have to follow them. They unlock the gates and lead you through, locking the gates behind them. As you come into the original room where you originally left your gear, you step up to the counter and start to re-equip your gear as the drow pull them from the chests. At this point, Tess, as well as your mother, walk through the door. I'll walk down the stairs.
Tess holds up her hand. Hello.
Ianfyr sort of gives a little muttered mother.
Look, maybe it was a bit cruel of me to leave you in a cell overnight. I'm sorry. Well,
Perhaps we can settle the family matters when we get back to the manor. Yes? Let the Ianfyr collect his things, and we will be on our way.
outside then. Ianfyr, you collect the rest of your personal effects, and you all continue outside. We go ahead and cut to the screen here. So did as for the rest of you, did any of you go with did any of you want to go with Tess and Sarina? Rec?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. Yeah, so Val's probably going to go too, waiting outside. So as soon as you guys, or as soon as you all come up from the dungeon and exit the Sentinel Scouts HQ, you find the rest of the party there waiting for you. At this point, I'd like to go ahead and kind of show. How do I do that? Yes. Okay. So this is Sarina. Should be displayed on your screens now. Actually, let me go ahead and get some music going here. There it is. She approaches Ianfyr and kind of leans down, looking at his face. You're right, for 2 whole years.
I was a little busy looking for Sarahi's murderer.
Again, with this, your friends also mentioned sort of the same. Sarahi is alive and well, always has been. I don't know what you mean.
Did we get our weapons back as well when we left the prison?
Yes.
All right. I'll say. He'll sort of pull out the dagger that he's been carrying, the one that had the jewel that's been encrusted. And he said, "I pulled this from out of her body, from her burned home. Don't tell me she's been alive this whole time."
She has been alive this whole time, Ianfyr. I really don't know where you're getting this from.
There's something
Please.
going on, and I really don't like it.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what went on after you left. Sarahi and me have both been worried about you since you left 2 years ago without a word. I don't know what else to say. Well, you don't have to cuss at me. I don't know what that was, but
I'll say, regardless, we have some other things that we need to worry about. This mirror that we brought through, it may be connected with what's going on with this disease, and we need to figure it out.
please don't tell me that you're caught up in this whole magical plague thing from over there in Godbury.
Well, we are the ones who potentially discovered it, so...
That's about the way of it, man. Darkpool kind of calls out timidly. Well, that's very much like you, isn't it? Always in trouble. Well, I already know there's not much a mother can do. I told you, friends. I'll tell you. You know Jamalor Manor is too small to house all of you people. If you don't want to camp outside the city, I recommend the inn. You know the one.
Oh, yeah.
Ianfyr, and she kind of like walks up to you and like wipes like dirt off your face. You stop by for tea?
I'll find time.
And she kind of like steps back from you. Go ahead and roll a perception check, everybody.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, Tess.
You know what?
Tess is just blissfully unaware.
I'm
It's
gonna
no, it's
use
okay.
my Tides of Chaos to give myself advantage on this.
Okay, fair enough. Ianfyr, Wreck. She is actively choking back tears right now. Ianfyr, this is not the usual behavior for your mother. She has always been like this very cold, not very, emotional person. But this is a, well, ever so slightly different person. But it does seem to be your mother.
We'll keep in touch.
That's all I ask. I'll be at the manor if you require me. Otherwise, please, do stop by. And she turns around. Pleasant journey to the rest of you and starts to walk back toward the manor.
As she does, I'm gonna sort of lean in close to Tess, and I mean in to the others, and I'm gonna whisper, "We cannot go back to that manor anytime soon. There is something wrong here."
Tess nods in understanding.
Indeed. It seems this Sarahi, is it? He's fully alive. Unbeknownst to you.
Well, she came to me last night, so...
Indeed. Do you,
Wait,
and you're...
while you were in jail?
To come and get me out, apparently.
Interesting. Ianfyr, you recall she did ask you to meet her at the usual place.
There is a spot we used to meet. If it really is her, then there's some explanations that need to be done, because there's something really wrong.
If it suits you, I could accompany you to this place. If not, I do understand.
Tess would also be more than happy to help.
Otherwise, we can wait at camp. It is up to you, Ianfyr, whatever you're comfortable with.
We're best sticking together. And Ianfyr will give a heavy sigh and sort of go. Besides, I could certainly use a little help making the place up again.
Indeed, with everything that you've explained, I can imagine this is hard for you. Oh, well, shall we?
Tess is ready.
Then off we go. And right here is where I'd like to go ahead and end for the day. I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in for our first episode back. I hope that you enjoyed the session. What's up? I don't have the mic set up on that scene yet, but I do hope that everybody did enjoy the episode. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks for the next one. Same bat time, same bat channel. All right, everybody. As always, I am your most gracious DM, VGpunx, and myself and our players would like to wish you good night. Keep a song in your heart.
Stay warm. Bye.
Farewell.